Welcome back to more of Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. We're going to be teleporting back to the beach soon. It's kind of funny. Break time's over. Back to the beach, I guess. But you might notice I have a lot of gil because I sold a whole ton of loot. And I think some weapons I didn't need. And I think a whole bunch of new things appeared in the bazaar. Wing cord. Yeah, I had a feeling that was what that was. Large gloves. Laser gloves. I don't think we had those before. Potion crate. Now that's actually pretty expensive, so worth it though. That's a lot of those potions, especially X potions. We didn't have many of those before. War axe. I'm guessing that's the... Yeah, I thought it was the Francisca. Soul of the Firebird. 25 tufts of Phoenix down. Definitely gonna take that. Survival sets. Yeah, basic status curing items. Quite a lot of them though. High potions and even more Phoenix Downs. And yeah, I had a feeling that's what those were. We already stole quite a few of those. I don't really need the poles right now because I have no one who can use them. But I'm thinking that once I get back to the coast, I might buy Barsh a better spear. Just so that he can hit flying enemies without a serious nerf to his attack power compared to swords. Because we have haste now. And, were you guys always... Yeah, I think they were always here before. I mean, I don't think... Unless I reset my, I suppose I can keep the Francisca in case I decide to reset LP or something. That's an upgrade for Bolthier. So I may as well get that. And I'll take the halberd for Barsh. Significantly stronger. Have heard that spears are pretty bad thanks to their, Oh, okay, that's, yeah, that's good gameplay advice there. I was wondering what you were saying there, but, yeah, they don't have a high combo attack rate, among other things. I suppose I can stay with Wormfire Shot for now. What do those Blazer Gloves do? Raises strength when character has full HP. Oh, Barsh can't use that. Varn can, and with an evade tank setup, although that's going to specifically hurt his evade tank setup, but I may as well give that to him. Improves the potency of restorative items such as potions. Does that affect, like, the damage they do to undead or things like that? Yeah, not really sure if I want to go for the turtle shell choker just yet. I think right now we can... Oh boy, there are a lot of exits to this place that we haven't actually been through yet. Fon Coast is a very big area. I may as well get the back parts of this place out of the way first. Oh, okay. Good to know. Moogle up the hill. The man who fell. Yeah, I could tell that was Bujerban. There you are. Okay, yeah, give me that map. That's going to be helpful. Expensive, but probably worth it. I'll ask him for directions just to get the dialogue. 5 ways in and out of the camp. Oh yeah, I want to go to the Sita Uplands. That was how Fran pronounced that earlier. Okay, so there are 2 different ways to go there, and I feel like we just saw a little bit of out of bounds there. I'm not sure if the camera was supposed to go that far. But anyway, yeah, I had a feeling there would only be like one area that I hadn't explored there. So that leads to question mark. And then this leads to... Actually, there's not as much more left of this place than I thought. That leads to a bit of a dead-end-ish area, but there's probably going to be like a Hun monster there at some point. They wouldn't make a dead end that large without something being there. Oh, I still remember the haste sound. gonna wait for Pinello to fully cast that. It's a little slow when it comes to cast time, it looks like, but oh boy. Do you feel its effects? Because once it goes off, your actions charge up basically twice as fast. Like, look at this. Look how fast my action meters are going up. Oh, this is just... Haste in pretty much every Final Fantasy game just makes everything better. It's just... Haste is, like... If someone could name me a Final Fantasy game where haste isn't, like, the best ability in its respective game, I'll be very impressed. Haste is just so amazing. Watch them go up with fast mode on. It's just really simple in what it does, but in most games that have an ATB system, haste just greatly raises it, and in games that don't have an ATB system, like Final Fantasy X, haste just makes you get your turns constantly. In fact, I even feel like haste is even better in... Okay, then it looks like it actually does wear off pretty quickly if Pinello's already recasting it, so maybe... I would say having it on a Gambit is, Oh, I actually did combo attack that one, except it kind of landed in the cliff, so not really much in terms of loot I can get out of that. But yeah, like, I almost feel like haste is even better in FF10 just because it just makes you get a bajillion turns, and in a battle system that's kind of similar to, I guess, Trails of, not just Cold Steel, the other Trails games, getting a whole lot of turns before the enemy can get a turn is extremely helpful because you can do things like just instantly... Yeah, delay is a thing in FF10 just like it is in the Trails games. It's nowhere near as broken as it is in Cold Steel, though. I don't remember, there was delay attack and delay buster, I think? I'm guessing you're going, yeah, on Barsh. They were both in Vaughn's section of the Sphere Grid, and they just kind of, I don't remember them being particularly... Wow, is Barsh actually hitting harder with this spear than Ash is with her magic? If that is true, that's kind of crazy. And I'd really like Barsh to get the increases attack power at full HP ability, because then he'd be able to combo that quite well with his Curaga and regen. Stay at high levels of health while also dealing massive damage with his high strength stat. Although I think he already has an argument from the license group with that. Oh, hi, Mandragoras that have popped out of nowhere. Nobody in this group has Libra, and I forgot what these things are weak to. I guess I can leave them be. Oh, another Dragon Shield. I believe that was the Earth immunity thing. Don't know if I'm going to go for that or not. Well, I suppose we can just Blizzara and haste that thing down. The enemies in here are a reasonably high level, but we take them all down in basically 2 hits. And it doesn't look like there's anything particularly amazing around this part of the coast, so let's go back and regroup at the save point and head in a little further. Oh, I don't think I've been to this part of the Fawn Coast yet. Yeah, there's a lot of people who gather here. This is like the place to be for all hunters. But in terms of us, we're not going to be able to do much with the Hunt Club until quite a bit later in the game. Like, considerably later in the game. Well, not considerably, decently. And, yeah, this guy, I think, yeah, he was the guy we did the Earth Tyrant thing for. So yeah, he shows up here if you've completed that side quest. That's sort of one of the main consequences of doing that one. Let's try this exit. I want to explore every nook and cranny of this place. Not that we really have much in the way of hunts here for now. In fact, speaking of hunts... Okay, there's only one rare game here that is not a, involving the Hunt Club, which we can't spawn yet, and it is in... it's all the way back here. You need to defeat 10 piranhas. Well, I guess I'm backtracking. Well, it turns out that the best place to fight piranhas is here. So, yeah, I have to go through this place and then backtrack after I've killed 10 piranhas to that other place to fight a rare game. So that's, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you'll notice the difference in damage compared to, when Vaan has full HP and when he, well, doesn't. This is where regen might be handy, and in fact, I think Fran has that. Yeah, so let's have you cast that. To help keep healthy, and stay in range of that ability. Because, yeah, Barsh was doing, like, as much damage as Ash is casting, specifically because of that ability. So he must have it via the license board to do more damage, physical damage, when your HP is higher, well, not higher, is at full. Which makes me think that, like, I think there are a few abilities like that in Xenoblade 2 that are considered pretty broken. But yeah, the thing about this is that, the thing about fighting the piranhas here is that Final Fantasy XII enemies usually persist between screens, so you can't exactly respawn more piranhas just by leaving and re-entering a particular location. But I fought about 3 of them earlier. Just gotta keep combing through the beaches for, yep, more piranha jump scares like that. They don't need to be chained, you just need to kill 10 of them in total. Yeah, I wonder if she should actually be focusing haste on, like, the person with the highest attack power or something. That might be a little bit better than just ally any, because sometimes casting it on herself is not exactly the most productive use of it. But as I'm just going through these large areas, just clearing out the rest of the Fawn Coast and fighting some rare game, the only rare game that I can take on at this point, in this area. Yeah, wow, with Fran's, like, increased damage and higher HP, she's doing even more than, Ash. Oh, yeah, so remember what I was saying about they wouldn't make an area like this, without, some purpose? Like a big sort of dead-end area? Well, yeah. So, I said earlier that one of the God Dang It Chests of Doom was here. Oh, and of course, Vaan can't even hit these things at all. So maybe it's best Vaan sits this out for a bit and I go with Volthea. But one of these is the final of the God Dang It Chests of Doom. For despawning the Zodiac Sphere. There's a formation of chests in the Necroll of Nabudis that is exactly like this. And picking the one that's the Chest of Doom despawns the equivalent in the Necroll of Nabudis, which makes me wonder whether it really was intentional, or whether it was just like a case of the game accidentally copy-pasting the same chest flag for 2 different treasure chests. But anyway, since it's a Zodiac Age, I can afford to take all of these. In the original, it's often recommended that you don't pick up any of them, because you won't know which one of them is the God Dang It Chest of Doom, and then it'll despawn the Zodiac Spear. This is one of the few I feel that's actually somewhat obvious, because, like, it's clear that a big line of chests like this is probably too good to be true, and there has to be some kind of catch. We got a few hats out of that, though. Although some of these are pretty low-level things of light armor. Although we found the adamant hat semi-recently. Makes you weak to ice, though, which might not be the best thing. Now, one more magic on Ash will definitely go a long way. It's much less vitality, but way more speed, so I'll take that. Yeah, Barsh still can't use the diamond armor for some reason. I definitely need to get a license for that, though I might do that at the end of this area. So anyway, like I was saying, I do feel like that is like one of the few God Dang It Chests of Doom in this game that is kind of fair, because, you know, it does kind of look too good to be true. Stole a bundle of feathers, that must be painful. You know, I was just thinking, like, why is Balthea's meter going up so slowly? And then I realized he's not hasted and he has a gun. And I'm used to haste meters going up on regular attacks. Yeah, holy crap, guns are slow. You can clearly tell that because Balthia's hasted and he still just takes forever to actually shoot. But they do ignore defense. And crits from them. It is an interesting idea having only ranged weapons being able to deal crits in this game. But before I got interrupted by that set of chests, I was really hoping there'd be something up here, but no, I guess it's just the scenic viewpoint or something. I could go into a little bit about what I feel about, I don't know, ATB systems in various games I've played, since I don't really play a lot of the Final Fantasy games that have ATB systems in the first place. ATB stands for Active Time Battle, by the way. It's sort of like an alternative to turn-based, but I feel like it's been a very long time since Final Fantasy actually did real turn-based combat. Well, it was an attempt. What I was trying to say is that Final Fantasy actually didn't do turn-based combat for very long. I know it was in FF1, I think 2, and maybe 3, but I think starting with 4 they used ATB, so like they did an ATB system pretty early, so they've never really been full turn-based RPGs in a way. Like the closest ones that there were Final Fantasy 1 and then 10. So I noticed that Penelo was running through her MP very quickly with haste, and then I realized she does have charge, so I can set that as a gambit. I mean, it has a chance of reducing your MP to 0, but I mean, if you've only got 10% left anyway, it's not like that's going to set you back very much. I think that's it. Yeah, there it is, Apsara, and unfortunately well, unfortunately, I sort of mean I feel bad for it, it's passive. But I'll dispel those buffs, and I need to get you in the bestiary, so unfortunately for you, I have to kill you. It's named after the water nymphs from Hindu mythology. And it's actually, correctly, called Apsara, not Apsaras, which is the plural. Okay, it does have quite a bit of health, though. I was going to try and specifically target that frog, and then I realized it will probably die to the effects of Fran's area attacks anyway. Seems like this thing's weak to ice if Fran is using Blizzara on it. Oh, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and try and kill the Silver Lobo first. Otherwise, Balthia's gonna be wasting all of his time stealing from it. And there's another frog for some reason. Went down just as aqua bubbles went off. And there we go. No vanquished thing or anything, and yeah, Penelo is well, we might get to see charge. Okay, yeah, that doesn't restore a lot. This path will take us more directly to the part of the coast we haven't been to yet. Thinking about ATB and that kind of thing, I feel like it's because some games do ATB systems because they think it's more action-like and it makes combat, you know, feel less turn-based and less quote-unquote boring to some people. But I've never really had that much of an issue with turn-based combat. It's just kind of the person that I am. I like to take things slow, and I like to think about things. They appeal to very different kinds of people. But on the other hand, I actually do appreciate the occasional action RPG as well. Like, lately as I'm recording this video, I've been really getting into Persona 5 Strikers, which is also, in a way, not entirely an action RPG, because it's also kind of a Warriors spin-off, but it leans more towards action RPG than it does Warriors game. And I like Kingdom Hearts, I like Nier Automata, so it's just, it kind of varies. It's more just based on, like, the kind of thing that you just want to play at the given time. But I like a lot of RPGs. In general, the few One of the few types of RPGs that I don't like is like the Western style of RPG, which, like, they're also usually kind of action RPGs, but they tend to be kind of hybrid shooters, and I'm awful at shooting games. Like, there was some kind of, I remember reading, like, seeing some kind of a video on, like, Mass Effect, but they were talking about how, like, they wanted to make, like, an RPG with quote-unquote accessible shooter-based gameplay. Yeah, accessible is not how I would describe shooter gameplay to myself in any way. Like, I am absolutely atrocious at it. It's one of my worst genres. But on the other hand, like, I'm not going to go out of my way to say, oh, well, because I don't like shooting games, I'm not good at them, that means that shooting games are bad game design, and games shouldn't be shooting games. And every game that is a shooting game should, you know, become a turn-based RPG instead, because that would make it more appeal to its target audience, right? Do you see what I'm trying to say here? There are a lot of people who get that way about turn-based RPGs. There are a lot of people who are like, oh, turn-based combat is archaic and mirror mail, and unnecessary, and it's, you know, a product of its time. Oh, yeah, I remember that. It does give you reflex status. That is a major double-edged sword, because it means that you can't be healed outside of items, or reverse. Well, no, you just, if you try to cast reverse on somebody who's reflected, it would just bounce off, I think. But, yeah, bit of a double-edged sword. But it's just like, particularly, there are a lot of, like, big-time analysis channels as well that often just talk constantly about how turn-based RPGs are just fundamentally badly designed and like... And it's just like, how would you feel if someone said that your, you know, your favorite genre doesn't deserve to exist just because they don't like it? That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, again, I do this a lot. I often reiterate points just to emphasize them, but like, I just can't stress enough that even though I don't like first-person shooter games, I would never go out of my way to say that the genre shouldn't exist, and that people who like the genre are wrong. Because that's how a lot of people treat turn-based RPGs, and it just kind of bugs me. Well, not kind of, it really bugs me. I was talking in the last video about that extra credits video in the comment section and how there has been a bit of a swing back, and people have started to appreciate turn-based RPGs more, partly due to Persona 5 being such a mainstream success, but it was before that too. Like, games like Bravely Default and now Octopath Traveler, turn-based RPGs have had a bit of a resurgence, and ironically, at the same time that the Final Fantasy series has now decided that nobody wants to play turn-based games anymore, that everything should be an action RPG. Like, yeah, as much as I do enjoy action RPGs, I played the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. It was alright, and from what footage I've seen, I love the way that game handles the characters. I think the characters in the Final Fantasy VII Remake are great, but I just don't like the fact that so many, I was about to say game journalists, but like, not really. So many, like, online analysts have just said that it's like the greatest, you know, leap forward ever just because it's an action RPG now. And I was waiting for a remake to play Final Fantasy VII because I knew that a Final Fantasy VII remake was inevitable someday. But I wanted it to have its original gameplay. Like, I was actually looking forward to a more faithful remake. I would say, so, faithful in terms of, like, gameplay and stuff, which just makes me think of people's reactions to the announcement of the Diamond and Pearl remake. Those are very interesting games, and I could go on about that, but it would be very strange for me to talk about tangents on Penelo's level 35. Penelo used to be my lowest level party member, and now she's overleveling everyone. Gee, I wonder why. This is why Time Battle Mage is, you want at least one Time Battle Mage, because haste is just that good. And I believe Time Battle Mage is the only class that gets haste. Does Fran have it? No, well, yeah, from what I can see, she doesn't have haste. And honestly, if you're not getting haste, what's the point of having time magic at all? Oh, if Penelo keeps spamming charge, I'm not going to be able to take her out of the party. But I think that's high enough, yep, that she won't start charging again. need to swap some people around. Now, Van is having a bad time, but that's mostly because there are a lot of flying enemies here. The goalies, apparently, according to their lore, not apparently, I know this for a fact, thanks to the in-game lore, they used to actually be able to fly, and they used to be, like, flying, basically flying kind of cavalry / war beasts until, until people invented airships, and then, there was no need for them anymore, and they lost their ability to fly. It's kind of a sad story. I like how this game gives, like, actual backstories and lore to all of the random monster types, even the model swaps. Some of the model swaps have really interesting lore behind them, like the face chickens. But yeah, like, there's been a bit of a swing back, honestly, and like, it all depends on execution, because I wasn't the greatest fan of Final Fantasy 15. I kind of liked the gameplay, but at the same time I really didn't, because I say that and I played this game where Gambits can do a lot of the work for you, but I didn't like how you had to hold, like, how you could just hold down the attack button in that game, and you would just keep using regular attacks on enemies. I just prefer it when, you know, there's a sense of rhythm and actual button pressing to your attacks in action RPGs. But I liked exploring the world in that game, but I really did not like its story at all. In fact, Final Fantasy 15 may have my least favorite story in any JRPG. Well, unless you count Fire Emblem Fates as one. Wow, there are Viera all the way out here? Baphamheim, yeah, that is an interesting place, and we may or may not be able to go there at some point. In fact, I think you can actually get pretty close to there much earlier than you're intended to, and that's why I might try the next time I go into the, when I go through the next area, which is going to be the Sita Uplands. So, on that note, I hope you've enjoyed I didn't really have, like, a full conclusion, but you sort of get my idea. I personally, in fact, I can probably continue to go over this while I spend some LP, since I have a lot of it. I recently completed my gamer engagement what's it called again? The, like, motivation survey? And I realized that, may as well prepare myself for that when that comes in the future. I realized that just different people like different things in games, and everyone just has different tastes, but at the same time, just to go on a different tangent, I also don't completely agree with the idea that your personality determines, like, the kind of games that you like. I actually think it's totally independent of that, which is best evidenced by the fact that, like, one of the engagement, one of the motivation categories was, like, destruction and that kind of thing, and usually those kind of people are the kind of people who like first-person shooters and games with a lot of blood and gore, but it's been a pretty much proven fact that the kind of people who enjoy those kind of games are not murderers in real life, and the people who say that they are stupid. So, again, I don't think there's actually much of a correlation between personality and... because I know a lot of different types of people who like RPGs, a lot of different types of people who like strategy games, and, like, who like platform games, and who like Dark Souls-style games. There was actually one category that I vaguely identified with, even though I didn't quite end up on that sort of level, is the ninja. But mostly because I do actually quite like Metroidvanias overall. And some people find that weird because I don't particularly enjoy open world games, but I don't consider Metroidvanias to be very open games. I actually consider Metroidvanias to be extremely linear. It's just that you usually don't notice they're that linear. Like, the world design generally funnels you out. I can talk about that much later. This is getting into a completely different topic, but you sort of get what I'm saying here is that I found that motivation survey to be really interesting, but at the same time, just not the be-all and end-all of everything. Especially since people... How did you not have charge yet? Wow. Especially since people can often like things outside of their normal gaming comfort zone, I suppose. I don't know, I suppose I'll future-proof you with some more white magic that we'll probably be able to buy soon-ish. Oh, just like Ash with charge, how the heck did you not have channeling yet? may as well just complete your accessory access. I'm sure Barsh should be able to forward something with this remaining LP. Shields too, I guess, just for completeness. In summary, different people enjoy different kinds of things in games, and I just feel like no one approach to style of game is better than another, and we all have our own interests. And on that note, I'll leave you, and I'll see you next time for the Sita Uplands, where I'm going to look up how to do a certain thing, because it sounds interesting and I want to try it. Look forward to that then.